this month's session of 3 lessons, we're going to continue looking at Alex Hayes' drawings from his book, The Mechanics of Golf. And in the first of the 3 parts, I want to look particularly at leg action and knee flex. The way your legs work and the way your knees, obviously intricately related. It varies with the pupil, it varies with the club, it varies with the shot, and it varies with the given technique. There's a huge amount of conversation about knee flex, and I'm going to take you through it. Now, this is a fantastic drawing. Here is basically the modern leg action. This sort of came through in the 70s. Prior to 1970 and mid-70s, Tom Watson used this. Tom Watson's coach was Byron Nelson. And Tom understood the significance of constant knee flex. Jack Grout worked with Jack Nicklaus. And although Jack was more of a fader of the ball, he too kept a bit of knee flex through impact. Here is an old-fashioned English-type swing with the leg braced or straight at impact. Now, this is a throwback to the days of hickory. The hickory club used to twist. It used to have torque. So as you came into the shot, the club header was flipping or lagging. And the mechanism of jumping with the left leg shut as you hit it actually closed the face. Now, that meant for us Brits, the club face was square to the target for about a nanosecond because the club was flipping. No wonder the Americans beat us in the Ryder Cup year in, year out, because our club face was square for a very short space of time. But in the modern swing, Alan Nicklaus and Watson, you can see that the knee flex through impact was flexed. Now, in Nicklaus's case, the left leg was finished straight. In Tom Watson's case, the left knee was always a little bit flexed. But you can see that the shaft is not flipping over. With the old English method, the shaft has flipped. With the American leg action, the modern leg action, the club face has stayed square for about a week compared to the nanosecond of our club head in Britain. So I think we're in transition. We're winning more Ryder Cups because we've got the Europeans helping us, but in the modern swing, we're much more like this, where we used to be like that. Let's go to the simulator and see some of that in action with the ball. Over the last 120 years, it's amazing how much has been taught and written about the golf swing, and also how much different methodology there is out there. Square to square, instinctive golf, natural golf, David Ledbetter golf, stack and tilt, rotary golf swing. All those different types of ways of playing. Now, I think the thing as a coach and as a player, you need to keep an open mind. The stack and tilt boys get a lot of criticism because people say it's not what the good players do, but I think they've latched onto something, and I think the interpretation of it is the key. So no matter what a person's theology is in the golf swing, it's always worth listening. You'll pick up something, and you've got to discern that which is good and that which is bad. But let me give you the stuff in the stack and tilt movement that I really like, particularly when it comes to knee flex. Now, the stack and tilt name came after a photo shoot. A very comprehensive photo shoot took place in America with one of the golf magazines, and there's a load of brilliant stuff, and the editor said, we need a title. And they came up with this title, Stack and Tilt. And really that title didn't do the concept justice. There was more to it than that. But one of the key elements of stack and tilt theology is that in the great players, at the top of the backswing, the right leg has straightened, and in the follow-through, the left leg has straightened, which is in contrary to the Tom Watson, Byron Nelson leg action that has constant knee flex. So let me show you where that comes from, in my belief. If I take my posture here, a bit of knee flex and good spinal posture, I'm going to put the alignment rod across my hips. Now, if I turn my shoulders and coil, then this alignment rod moves in a horizontal plane. And when I do this, my knee stays flexed. Simple as that. If I do my shoulder turn up here, you can see the same again. So, if I turn in horizontal plane, you can see that my hip has turned equally in a horizontal plane. Now, when you incline from the hip, you get a different dynamic. That same rotational movement means that the right hip appears to rise. Well, it does rise, but it doesn't mean it's lifted. There's a difference. The hip rises as the rotation takes place. In the horizontal rotation, the right knee stays flexed. The moment you incline and your tailbone goes out and your head goes forward, you now have an inclined rotation. And that inclined rotation causes the right leg to straighten, but not to lift. And nor does it create a tilt. Now again, the stack and tilt boys get pilloried because you think they're teaching that. They're not. If I put the yellow stake next to my leg and I rotate, the hip has moved inwards. That doesn't mean that my weight has gone to my left side, nor does it mean that I've tilted. All we're seeing is a pure rotation and the hip moving away from the stake. Don't think for a minute that this happens or this happens. It doesn't. You're just looking at the fruit of rotation. I can show it you in the horizontal plane, but it's much more marked and much more noticeable in the inclined plane. So there we have it. At the top of the backswing, the right knee seems to have straightened, and the right knee has lost its flex and appears to be straight. But remember, the right hip is rising. It doesn't mean that the swing is lifting or tilting for that matter. Now, the same is true in the through swing. If I stand up, I will keep my knee flex constant. If I incline and go through, I would expect my left leg to straighten. I'm still in balance. So I don't believe the stack and tilt boys are teaching this. You may think that. I think what they're teaching is a centered rotation with the right leg straightening and a full hit coming through and the left leg straightening. I think in the draw spin swing and the Tom Watson movement, Watson keeps his knee flex. But in Nicklaus and Trevino and so many great players, the fullness of the follow through means that the left hip appears to have risen. It hasn't lifted, but you can see it matches. The right leg straightened in the backswing, the left leg straightens in the through swing. Okay, so there we have it. Look at different methodologies, take stack and tilt. There's some good stuff in there. You've just got to find it.